Development on the waterfront?
Okay. And what about that?
Go ahead, Monica.
I think that seniors and youth and where they fit into our society is pretty important. And the fact that they do fit in and have to fit in.
Okay.
Go Donna.
Go Donna.
Okay. So,
I don't know, dear.
no? Oh, okay.
I'm not from here. I'm from
You're just
Summerland.
visiting?
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, they plan on taxing non-profit groups, and so I'm against that.
You're against that? Okay.
They're mainly volunteers.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't know whether they want to fight or whether they want to work together in some kind of a consensus. That's probably what it is. You know, whether everybody's going to be part of it or you're just going to have different groups fighting with one another.
Okay, thank you. Are you going to vote?
I doubt it. There's really nobody to vote for. You know, I don't like what Exeter's done. I don't know much about McDonald. 80s rocker, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've read. You know, I think, you know, busking on Baker Street is not a good idea. You know, set up a part of the park or something, but this is a business end. If I have a business down here, forget it. I don't want them out in front of my door, so.
Okay.
Doug J, I don't know too much about him. I like the guy, but I don't know if I'd vote for him. I don't know, have enough information on him, so.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of big issues for me, and I am going to vote.
Okay, what in particular do you think is a big issue that the city has to address? The electors have to address?
Well, my biggest concerns are the environment and women's issues and youth.
Okay, so that's going to affect how you vote, how people address that? Okay, great. Thank you. Hi there. Upcoming election, what's a big issue?
Budget.
Budget? Okay. Why is that?
Just concerned about the welfare of our province and seeing that the current government manages their financial affairs.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
The only one thing I know, like I see too many women in it.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
Make it look like they're going to be like daycare over there.
Okay.
And then they're going to be lots of different ideas and nobody knows what they're going to do.
Okay, thanks. You have a good day.
You.
Okay.
Always feeling left out.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you following it closely what different councillors are saying and stuff like that? Or
Somewhat.
trying to? Okay.
Somewhat. Really supportive of Donna McDonald and her ideas.
Okay.
Any issues?
Yeah.
The fact that this town is the most, I'm from Ottawa, and this is the most conservative town that I've ever seen that plays the role of one that is not. This town is so, I can't even say it the way I would like to say it. This is the most conservative, wannabe, free-spirited town that I've ever been to in my life. I'd rather move to Castlegar.
Well, I sure can't understand how they could give that land away to build that hotel. But I'm not a resident, but I spend a lot of time over here. My girlfriend lives here. And I don't know, they gotta start spreading out the tax base a little differently.
Okay.
It's pretty hard on taxpayers.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Hi, we're back again, and we're having your calls to all the aldermanic candidates for this up and coming election. And as I understand, do we have another call on the air? And we're going to go right to that caller. Hello? So we lost the call. So maybe the call can happen back again. I'm just going to tell you while we're waiting to see if we can get that call back again, that on November 13th at 7 p.m., oh, the call is there. Okay. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to ask a two-part question, if I may. The first part is, with the present cuts in provincial funding, government funding to the municipalities, how do you as councillors address the need to generate the shortfall of funds and yet still maintain quality of life? And the other comment I'd like to make is, with respect to the Capitol Theatre, it's a comment to all the candidates.
We're going to take one question. Caller?
Yes?
I'm sorry, we're going to take one question per caller.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to start with Dave Elliott.
You better rephrase that question to me again. I was a bit confused.
The question had to do with the cuts to the municipal governments, and my understanding was that the caller wanted to know how we would deal with that. Is that...
There's a couple of things that you can do with that, and there's only so much you can do. But if we can encourage small to medium-sized business to settle in Nelson, high technology business like Pacific Insight Electronics or the Nelson Brewing Company, small business is big business for Nelson. The more businesses you can encourage to settle here, then I think the more revenue it will bring in for the city. And we just have to make the city vibrant by trying to create more business within Nelson, but conscious business, the business that fits in Nelson at the same time.
Thank you very much. Now we'll hear from John Neville.
Thanks, Nelson. I think this is a pretty serious question, that the provincial grants of $700,000, unconditional and conditional $3.07 $300,700 to the police, it is going to have a huge effect on our budget of approximately 10%. And from my own perspective, I think we have to say that the essentials, the police, the fire, water, sewer, and electricity, will be held sacred. But other things have to be reduced. Some of them might be boulevard maintenance, lane maintenance, tree planting, tree removal, purchasing of equipment, freeze on staff travel and hiring. I think gifts and grants will have to be frozen. Bylaws that do not generate revenues from enforcement may have to be put aside.
Thank you very much, John. And now we'll hear from Emil.
I think it's a blessing in disguise. The cycle of growth and recession is one we all have to live under. I believe by setting attainable goals within the community, it'll help us, and by maintaining positive work ethics, we can overcome short-term losses. The blessing, I believe, is it will challenge us to create businesses and incomes at a municipal level that will actually be profitable and support our needs as a community. Thank you.
Thank you, Emil. Janice Morrison.
Yes, I'd like to start by saying that Nelson has faced tough times before. We faced the closure of KFP, and we came around and we got onto the heritage theme, and now we're known as the Heritage Capital of Canada. Nelson is definitely a survivor. I think what we'll be looking at is examining new opportunities to market city resources. That could be technical expertise sharing with the RDCK in outlying areas. And we must pursue creative partnerships. And the prime example we have here is KSA. They managed to go out and get a $1 million endowment from the FRBC for their woodworking school. This is offsetting the cost to the students. This is bringing in excellent woodworking instructors like Michael Fortune. That these opportunities are resplendent to Nelson. We have the Oriental School of Medicine has started. And like Dave has mentioned, we've got the NBC, and we've got other small business priorities, and this is where Nelson's going. I don't have any doubts that we'll see ourselves through these municipal cuts.
Thank you. Now we will hear from Judy Gayton.
I echo some of the ideas of the previous speakers. I think that Nelson will survive this. I believe also there are several other steps that we should undertake. I think that there should be an audit of our current services to ensure that they are provided in the most cost-efficient manner and that we're getting the best bang for every taxpayer's dollar that we spend. And I'd echo Janice's brief discussion there, that we should be cooperating and consulting more with the Regional District of Central Kootenay to ensure that there's equitable payment for shared services and shared facilities, perhaps in future leading to a regional municipality, so that once and for all the region operates as one. But I think that the biggest thing here, unlike what John has just put forward, is that I don't think as a councillor I would immediately come up with some solutions and cut this and cut that. I believe that if the rubber has to hit the road and there are in fact service cuts to come, that this must be a community consultation. It's the community's services and the community's money that we're dealing with, and I would like to hear from the community where the pain has to take place to ensure that any cuts in service or changes are balanced and fair and have community support.
Thank you, Judy. Corrine Mori.
Well, I think it's fair to say that the next year will be pretty tough. But Nelson has been through a similar thing in the 80s, and what happened was, instead of relying on a couple industries to sustain the town, it diversified, and this is a result of what happened, the way that Nelson is now, with the small business, the character, the personality that it has. So I also look at it as a blessing. It's going to teach us how to put out our roots and dig a little deeper, and to use a little bit more creativity to see where we can support ourselves. And like I say, it's going to be tight, but we'll make it.
Thank you. Marty Horswill.
Yeah, absolutely, we're going to make it. I don't know, perhaps the current members of council have information that I'm not privy to, but I haven't heard any specific figures mentioned, and I believe I did hear the Premier say that grants to municipalities and their regular grants in lieu of taxation would not be hit, but there would be other areas, but maybe I've misunderstood the situation. But regardless, we have been through much more difficult times in this community than a 10% budget cut for the city imply, and had to deal with much more than 10% tax revenue cuts for the city as a consequence. Plus we had people unemployed all over the place, and we did. We got together, we put our differences aside, and we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, and we'll do it again and probably come out for the end of it as we did in the problems of the 80s, with a much healthier and much more diversified and much more confident community.
Thank you. Alice Mayrhofer.
It just occurred to me that in the 30s, when the Depression was on, that the ingenuity of the people of this city got together and built a civic arena. And I lived through the 80s, and I remember saying to a lot of my customers, it's a beautiful place to live, but you can't eat the beauty. So, and then we got busy, got together, we got a mall, and we got heritage. So we survived, and we're survivors, and we'll do it again. We'll find something that will help us in small industry, perhaps. But one of the things that all of these different agencies in towns, or what is it that we're talking about where the taxes have been cut, everybody, anybody that gets a cut in salary or whatever has to tighten their belt and clean up where their waste is.
Thank you, Alice.
Sorry, thank you.
Thank you. Doug J.
Thank you, Nelson. I think the people of Nelson are a proud people, and will be able to bounce back from the problems that we're going to be facing over the next couple of years. But I think some of the things that we have to look at are twofold. Firstly, I think we need to continue re-examining the way we deliver our services to the people of Nelson. We've initiated a total quality management project, which has substantially cut the amount of time taken to hook up a customer for electrical service. It has saved the city, I can't remember, I think it was about $45,000 a year annually just on that one process. That is something we can do without incurring layoffs as a result. The second thing I think that we would have to look at is being able to generate some additional employment in terms of promoting and enhancing small business operations. I think we need to take advantage of the fact that there's high-tech industry out there that are prepared to look at the city of Nelson, because we're able to cluster our natural beauty, surroundings, and quality of lifestyle with an educational infrastructure such as KSA that's taken the value-added wood design to the next level, and with potentially a new federal program, infrastructure program, that will assist us in infrastructure development in the high-tech field.
Thank you, Doug. Now we'll hear from Marianne Bond.
Well, there's not too much to add to what's been said here already. I haven't heard if there's any specific cuts, as one of the candidates just mentioned. I totally agree. If the cuts have that drastic of an impact on us, we absolutely must consult with the community. If they're more modest, I think it provides an opportunity for us to look at our resources internally and possibly come up with some more innovative ways of delivering our service. In terms of the impact on our quality of life, I think it's imperative that we continue to create a community that people want to live in. If they want to live here, they will move here, they'll bring their businesses here, they'll create businesses here.
Thank you. Now we'll go to Tony Brooks.
I believe I personally am not privy to any information that anybody else here has access to, but I strongly urge and would support more youth involvement. I was told that there was over 1/3 of the percentage of youth between the ages of 19 and 24 are on some form of social assistance. Now I think we need to tap into that resource. The youth in this community, they're not lost souls. They're well-educated people. A lot of them aren't from Nelson specifically, but they've traveled from other parts, and they're here. They want to learn how to empower themselves. So then I reiterate my point that we need community access, fair representation on advisory committees, and we need social planning models for youth with a by youth, for youth philosophy. And I think with empowerment, our youth will, they'll take care of themselves. They're our future.
Thank you. Rob Switzer.
Yes, when I moved here in the early 80s, Nelson was facing a much more serious economic problem than we face today. And as several candidates have already said, the town pulled together, worked together, and pulled itself out of that recession. I think we will do so again. I think Nelson has thrived on the flexibility of its citizenry and its ability to do just that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have another caller on the line. And hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, I've just come recently to the program, so I hope I'm not duplicating anything here, but I have a relatively specific question to ask. I guess looking for an opinion, I guess from Dave Elliott specifically, but maybe anybody else would like to answer it. But what's your opinion, Dave, of the plan to develop the old mill site, and that's without pedestrian access along the lake there? Interested in seeing what the response to that question is. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Well, Rob has already answered that question to some extent. I have one major concern around that Millennium development. I was on the Waterfront Committee and the Economic Development Commission when the official community plan was put together, and I was part of that process. And the plan said clearly that the waterfront of Nelson should have a walkway from one end to the other end wherever possible. Now when we worded it, we said wherever possible, and that was our mistake. Everybody understood clearly that it was on the waterfront. We told City Council at the time when they interpreted the wherever possible, they decided that it wasn't possible to go in front of the houses in the Millennium Project. I have great problems with Millennium developing 300 housing units in Nelson, not putting a walkway in, moving back to Vancouver with their money in hand, and leaving us for future generations with no walkway on our waterfront throughout Millennium. And I think those kind of mistakes definitely can't be made with this. The project, I think overall, it has some major consideration.
Thank you very much, David.
It's not a bad project.
Marty Horswill.
I was also involved in the official community plan process as a member of council at the time. And it was very clear to me and very clear to everybody on council that the reason for the weasel words wherever possible in that phrase was because there is a federal government property on our waterfront, the RCMP building, and as a municipal council we have absolutely no right whatsoever to do anything that affects a federal government or a provincial government property. We can only get down on bended knee and beg. We have no authority. So we had to put those words wherever possible because it is not legally possible for us to write a document that implies we have authority over the federal government. But all other property on the waterfront, whether private or public, is subject to our municipality's official community plan, and the plan said on 7 different places in the document that the waterfront would be continuous from one end to the other, and that the city would obtain an easement from all private properties as a prior condition to issuing a development permit. That's what we need to do.
Thank you, Marty. Now we'll hear from Doug J.
Thank you, Nelson. I just wanted to add a little bit point of clarification in that in our negotiations that are ongoing with Millennia with regards to developing the KFP site, that they have not approached us by saying that they do not want a waterfront walkway on the entire project. They have broken the project up, and I think it's fair to the developer and proponents of the project that they've broken it up into 3 areas: the single-family residential, the hotel, conference center, and the high-density area, the townhouses and condos and apartments, and an RV park at the other end, or a tourist park. And they had only proposed to us that they didn't want to put a walkway in front of the single family only, and that would go in front of the remainder of the property and loop back up with the waterfront walkway that goes throughout the rest of the city.
Thank you, Doug. And now we're going to hear from Marianne Bond.
I think you need to do a whole show by itself on the Millennia Project, but I just wanted to add that it's not just the walkway in terms of the issues about Millennia. There's many, many issues this community needs to consider. One of the main ones is traffic. As Rob Switzer said, if we have a development the size of Caslow going in down on our waterfront, we need to think, how will we accommodate that number of cars?
Thank you very much. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Nelson, this is Danielle and Chantal. We have a question for Tony. Do you believe in the no dogs allowed on Baker Street signs on the sidewalk? We don't. We'll hang up now.
Thank you. Tony?
Well, to be honest, the question pertaining to the no dog signs on Baker Street, I think they might as well read no with a heart, with a slash through it, no heart and no brain. The bylaw, from my understanding, it came about due to dogs that were loose on Baker Street and defecating and leaving trails behind them without their owners being responsible for them. I think that was a travesty. I think pet owners should be responsible for the excretion of their pets. Banning, I mean, it seems Orwellian to me, saying, you know, red zone, blue zone, black zone. So for me, I'd try and revamp that no dogs.
Thank you. Caller, you're on the air. Hello, caller?
Okay, I've turned off the TV so I can't hear you.
Okay.
I have a question for Corrine Mori and all those who did not make an unequivocal no to taxing the non-profit social services. Would they be prepared to tax churches and the golf course?
Thank you. Corrine?
Churches would not be taxed. As far as I understand, the golf course is under some kind of recreation act that's part of the provincial government, so we have no authority over that.
Okay, does anybody else want to make a comment? We will hear from Doug J.
Thanks, Nelson. I think when we look at reviewing tax exemptions for all the organizations that currently receive them, I think it is fair to look at everybody. No ands, if, buts, or ors. And in doing so, we assess the priorities of the community in terms of what do we value most in terms of providing service, which are worthy of receiving tax exemption status. And I think we would continue to do that in the next term of council to reach a fair compromise. But I do understand that there is not provincial legislation, but I had a cup of coffee with a friend of mine who's a lawyer, mentioning that golf courses under some anomaly got an exemption because of that.
Thank you, Doug. And now we'll hear from Marty Horswill.
My understanding of the situation surrounding golf courses isn't that municipalities have no jurisdiction. It's rather that municipalities have been given authority to provide exemptions over and above what they're permitted to do for other comparable situations. And I think the reason for that is because by the very nature of a golf course, it has a huge amount of land and therefore potentially a huge tax bill to deal with. So the legislation allows flexibility, doesn't say the municipalities must. I think the real issue for me in the tax review is looking not only at the nonprofits and groups like them, but looking at the for-profit operations that Rob Switzer mentioned, who have tax exemption. The mayor went out of his way to write a letter a month after he was elected saying that he supported the continuation of the tax exemption for Canadian International College, despite the fact that they pay taxes in the city of Vancouver.
Thank you, Marty.
What's wrong with Nelson?
Thank you. We will hear now from John Neville.
Thanks, Nelson. I think that the listener has to realize that this tax exemption bylaw comes up every year, and it's something that's reviewed annually, and most years the list has gradually got a little bit bigger for many years. And 2 or 3 years ago, council unanimously agreed to a recommendation by the previous mayor and a couple of others that the whole list should be reviewed, and that's what staff did this year and came up with some recommendations. Most stayed exempt status, and a few that we all know about today were recommended for some changes. But I think what's happening, Nelson, is that the community has become alerted to this now, and so I think we're going to get more input and a fairer consideration back and forth between council and community people with the various interests on that list.
Thank you, John. Now we will hear from Alice.
I have a little problem with what's happening here with regard to this tax exempt. My understanding is that this comes up every year. Every year when it comes up, we have councillors there that we've elected by our democratic process, all knowledgeable on what's going on. It requires 3 readings. It received 2 readings and passed, and on the 3rd reading there was some objection, but nevertheless the vote was taken and it was passed. These are council people who are knowledgeable, and we have to trust in them. So what's happening to democracy here? Can't we live with this?
Thank you, Alice. We have another, sorry, Judy Gayton.
I think the caller only wanted those that were not on the
No, the caller said this is for everyone. And we will accept anyone who wants to answer is okay.
I think there is some error in thinking that it is illegal for the city to impose taxes. The report that was submitted to council by the administration and the traffic committee in fact included a proposal and an explanation of a process by which the city could in fact sign a deal with any organization in the community about a fixed tax assessment for as long as 10 years at a time. I think we also have to understand that in spite of the fact that individual tax exempt statuses are usually addressed every year by council, that what was put forward was in fact a 4-year phase-out plan, part of which was already implemented when we took away a portion of the tax exemption for the West Kootenay Child Care and Family Society, and that the mayor has already said that he is in favor of implementing that 4-year plan. So we have to understand that there is a direction that some people, and who are current councillors perhaps, and certainly our current mayor, have indicated that they will follow in those future years. And you're right, Alice, they may vote every year, but we've already heard what Mayor Exner will do with that 4-year plan, and he said we have to implement it.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
Just like anybody else on council.
Thank you,
Don't
Alice.
blame it on him. There were other councillors there that
Alice?
also voted, so it's equal.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Getting my dander up a bit.
Hi, are you there, caller?
Thank you.
You're on the air.
I have a question for Ms. Gayton. I'd like to know who funded the millions of dollars of housing that she had built in Nelson. Was it government or private enterprise? And is your job a salaried position, or are you on a commission, the monies which are funded by taxpayers' dollars?
Thank you, caller. Go ahead, Judy.
Yes, thank you for that question. There have been 3 nonprofit housing projects which I was responsible for constructing in Nelson. One of those was a shared project with provincial and federal money. None of them were private enterprise. They are all under federal and provincial legislation, and they were funded by your provincial and federal tax dollars, which I'm pleased to say we got some benefit from in Nelson. The first project was Cedar Grove Estates, which was federal provincial money. It's a nonprofit housing project. The second one was strictly federal money. It was phase 1 of the Links Housing Co-op, and the third one was straight provincial money, which was phase 2 of the Links Housing Co-op. I am not a salaried person. I am a private consultant who works on a fee schedule, and my fee schedule is set by either the federal or the provincial government and carefully monitored. Along that line, I'd like to say that the number of housing units constructed either by the federal or the provincial government is predetermined in each year, and whether or not that money comes from Nelson doesn't determine whether or not our city gets any benefit from it. When I built the Links Co-op, the federal government said they don't do that in interior BC.
Judy, thank you.
And now they do.
Marty, you wanted to comment.
Yeah, I'm interested that Bill has asked this question in the particular terms he's used. I'm wondering if it's implying that he would feel better as a Nelson taxpayer if people like myself as a member of council and Judy as somebody who we engage to help us implement these nonprofit housing projects that brought federal and provincial funds into our community. Would you really have been happier as a Nelson taxpayer if those dollars went to some other community? We brought tax dollars back into our community. And bear in mind that Nelson taxpayers represent a minuscule proportion of the total federal and provincial budget. So the vast majority of the federal and provincial dollars we brought into this community were not dollars that we paid out from this community, but we got it back in. And I think that that's a very important role that your council can play by being a catalyst to allow this kind of community initiative, because it didn't start in the council, it started in the community, to allow these kind of initiatives to succeed and to facilitate the bringing of these resources back into our community.
Thank you. We have another caller before our closing statements. Caller, you're on the air. Hi, caller.
Yeah?
You're on the air.
Thanks. Hi there. I'm wondering what you think of this year's host of mayoral candidates and how you think that you could work with them as councillors on a municipal basis. I'm going to hang up now and listen to the question.
John, you're number one on this one.
Thanks, Nelson. I think over my 19 years on council, I've worked with about 6 mayors and 5 councillors on the rest of council, and my philosophy is that whatever political philosophies, one has to put them aside and work with a team for the best good of the community. And I am concerned that I'm hearing some people around this room saying how they will work and facilitate with everybody, but have been criticizing the existing mayor. That's not the way to work as a team, and I will be prepared to work with whoever gets elected as mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Emil is next.
The decision, when I made the decision to run for council, I had to weigh out, one of the things I had to weigh out was, will I be able to work with whoever? I'm a very good team player in sports, in whatever area of life I choose to create an occupation in. I believe that no matter who gets in, I can work well with them. And although I have stated that I didn't like the way Gary had conducted some of his businesses, I do believe I can work with him, or Donna, or any of the mayoral candidates who gets elected.
Thank you, Emil. And now we'll hear from Janice.
Thanks, Nelson. I have to concur with what's been said by the previous 2 gentlemen here, is that I too am a team player, and I believe in the consultative process, and whoever gets in, they get a vote. But I think what the caller needs to be aware of is that there's 13 of us sitting here, 6 of us will be elected, and we all get a vote. And maybe the caller should be concerned about what we see as the issues and where we stand. The mayor only gets to throw in his hat when there's a tie. So let's keep that in mind, the democratic process. Thanks.
Thank you. Judy Gayton.
It's up to the residents of Nelson to decide who they want for mayor and council, so we will certainly all work with whoever our compatriots are around the table. My preference would be to work with Donna MacDonald as my mayor.
Thank you. Corrine?
I am a hard worker, and I am very honest, and I always do my best at whatever I do. So I don't believe I'm going to have any problems working with any one of these people on council. And I think the problem will be for them because I often deal with very high expectations. So already I apologize to you now for my high expectations, but I don't think that'll be a problem at all.
Thank you. Marty Horswill, please.
I too will work with whichever mayor the voters of Nelson choose to elect. But I would say in response to what John Neville has said that my recollection is that the serious rift within the council started from when John himself began to attack 3 other members of the council as being part of a partisan cabal. And that attitude has been carried over since that day and since the election of the current mayor. There has been a very clear in-group and out-group situation on our council. We've been so bad that Councillor MacDonald's mail has been opened and read before she's got to see it, and the mayor actually put one private letter on the agenda before Councillor MacDonald saw that letter herself. That kind of behavior is very close to totalitarian, and I think there's no call for it whatsoever, so I dearly hope that Donna MacDonald will be our next mayor and we won't see any more of this behavior.
Thank you, Marty. Alice, please.
I just take it as my responsibility, if I should be a councillor, to work with whoever's there. That's, I think, a given. And it's not for me to determine who's going to be the mayor. That's it.
Thank you, Alice. And Doug?
Thank you, Nelson. I think that in the short time that I have been handed the privilege of serving Nelson as a councillor, that I have demonstrated an ability to work with whoever the mayor was, whether it be the former mayor or the new mayor, and being able to try and look at what was best for the city of Nelson. And that didn't necessarily mean being able to follow the voting patterns of one mayor or the other, but truly what I thought we could do as the best we could for our community. And I've always maintained that position and will continue to maintain the position that I think it's important to work with whichever mayor it is. I'm not stating a preference either way because I think that would tend to look at some sort of, group. I think it only perpetuates the group or slate kind of ideas that are ongoing, and I don't think we really need that. Well said. Well, and I also think that it's important that it's unfortunate that that kind of a question would be addressed to the councillors candidates here, that the issue that we're facing, there's many numerous issues that we're facing, and I didn't think it was exactly fair for us to be commenting on the 5 candidates for mayor. Thanks.
Thank you, Doug. Marianne, we will hear from you now.
I think it's incumbent upon all who get elected to try and work together. I also think it's equally important to be an independent voice and to speak up or speak out wherever necessary. So I hope I could work with anybody.
Thank you, and now we'll hear from Tony Brooks.
Well, my answer will be a little bit differently. I think that we're all humans. We all come from child to teenage to adult, and we all have responsibilities, and we're responsible for our own actions. And I think at the end of the day and at the beginning of each morning when we stand in the bathroom, we look in the mirror, the bathroom wall, we have to live with our decisions that we made during the day, and I think that's the most important thing, is that we're all human, we all make mistakes, and I'm looking forward to working with whoever is on council or the mayor, because I think all of us can change for the good.
Thank you, Tony, and now we'll hear from Rob Switzer.
Yes, I've learned a lot since deciding to run for council, and I've learned that by listening to people. I've met a lot of people. A lot of these candidates here tonight I've met for the first time tonight, and I've frankly been impressed. I think I could work probably with any one of them. As for the mayors, I could work with any of the, well, let's face it, there's only 2 that are really in the race, and I think I could work with either of them. I think it'd be interesting, though, to reverse the question and ask which of the mayoral candidates could work with a council. Thank you.
Thank you, and now we'll hear finally from Dave Elliott.
I think it's incumbent upon us to, as potential councillors, to work with anyone as a mayor. My preference would be to work with a mayor with an open mind and integrity, and I will work with anyone on council.
Thank you. We're going to go to our closing comments, and we're going to do it in reverse order from our opening comments. So we're going to start with Doug J.
I thought I'd have a few minutes to prepare.
It was to be fair.
But ladies and gentlemen, I think that we've been able to have a good look at all the candidates, all the excellent candidates that are running for council and willing and prepared to put their time and their family time and make the sacrifice to serve our community. And I think that is truly commendable and something that we really should be encouraging more of in the future. I think the voters of Nelson are going to have a very important decision on November 16th. And I'm looking forward to being able to ask you for your support and hope I can count on your support on that day so that we can continue to build on some strong successes for our community and to do so in a way that we can work together while maintaining healthy debate and recognize that there may be differences on votes on issues as they come forward. But at the end of the day, knowing that we're working because we're genuinely concerned for the well-being of our community and the people that make up our wonderful community. So I hope on November 16th that I may be able to count on your support and be privileged again to serve as your counselor.
Thank you, Doug. And now we'll go to Alice Mayrhofer.
I really don't have much to say other than to say thank you for listening to us tonight, and I would just encourage everyone to get out and vote. That's your privilege, and I wish you'd exercise it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Marty Horswill.
Thank you. It's also been my privilege to serve on council before, and I know from the 4 years that I spent that it is very possible and in fact very easy and enjoyable to work around the council table with people who have very different viewpoints from your own and very different experiences from your own, provided they're all there to serve the public interest and respectful of each other. And I think it's the loss of respect above all for each other and for all viewpoints in our community that's been the problem in the past few years. And I hope dearly that we can get back to the friendly, neighborly kind of council that we've had in the past that'll get behind what the community wants to do and give the community the support so we can get Nelson on the road again. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Marty. Corrine Mori.
When this election was coming up, I was very concerned about what kind of options would be presented to the community. And that's why I threw myself into the game, because I didn't want to be a complainer. I wanted to be a part of the solution to the problem. And that's why I'm here, because I do want to be a solution to the problem. I want to continue the vision that every one of these people see for this community. And I see the council as a place where we all don't have to be one voice. We all should be different voices. I see difference of opinion as a stimulation, as an enhancement. I think it's more conducive to progression when we have people of different backgrounds, different opinions on there. But then you have to look at the personality, and you have to have people on there who are willing to give in when everybody else says no. So I believe I have that kind of personality, and that's why I'm doing this. If you want my option, vote for me. If you don't want my option, don't vote for me.
Thank you.
But we're here.
Thank you. Judy Gayton, please.
It's hard not to echo everything everyone's already said. I entered this race with a fair bit of trepidation because when I look at all the issues that face someone on city council, I'm absolutely alarmed at the breadth of the issues and the amount of knowledge that I don't have going into it. And I think that one thing that is useful, and I'm hearing it from several candidates, not just I think from my own trembling chest, is that we want to sit here and learn and hear the differences of opinion and all the issues and the information. You can't go in with an agenda. I have no idea all the different issues that will come up in the next couple of years. I think that all that you can count on from a councillor is what we've talked about here in terms of goodwill toward the community, a record of service, a record of getting the job done, open-mindedness, and so on. So I think what we're looking for and what I'm hoping to bring to the table is energy and enthusiasm, but a great deal of humility and a willingness to find out the answers, to hear what you want done so that I can help to be your arms and legs to achieve your goals. Thanks.
Thank you, Judy. Janice Morrison.
Thanks, Nelson. I'd like to take this opportunity to also thank Shaw for allowing the citizens of Nelson to be able to view their potential candidates. And there's quite a few nice gentlemen in the back room here, too, that have been working very diligently this evening. So how are we going to make Nelson the best that it can be? Simple. Vote for me on November the 16th. Work with me for the next 3 years, and we will accomplish something we can all be proud of. We already have the town, and the attitude here is great. I'm sure you're all familiar with the adage, great things come in small packages. And that is what we have. We have the best little city this side of anywhere. With you on my side, it will be that way. Thanks.
Thank you. Now we will hear from Emil.
Thank you again for sharing your time with me and all of the members here. I see the future of Nelson as very promising in terms of enhancing and celebrating the arts, the growth of our tourist industry, the unifying of our businesses to create a whole plan for the future, and the encouragement of creating sustainable and creative solutions for a self-reliant community. I believe in working hard and sharing our resources with everyone. And most of all, I believe in having fun in all of life's challenges. So, if elected, I will promise to have fun and work hard for the community. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Emil. Now, John Neville.
Thanks, Nelson. Fellow citizens, we are facing some difficult times ahead. We have a great community and a tradition of working together. I would certainly like and am very willing to be part of the incoming council team. Back in the 80s, I spent all of those years on council. I am credited with bringing in the Heritage Program to Nelson, and I supported a number of other programs which have sustain this community. I'm willing to go on using my imagination and my experience on your behalf. So on November the 16th, I'd ask that you just save one of your 6 votes for John Neville. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Dave Elliott.
I'd just like to thank you for tuning in and paying attention to what's going on in your community. I'd also like to thank the councillors here, or the potential councillors here, to step forward and taking on this task, or potential of taking on this task. I'd just like to mention a few of my priorities before we leave here as to what I would like to see happen in the next few years. Long-term planning and future generations in mind is very important for Nelson. Preserving and celebrating Nelson's unique character and lifestyle. Building a diversified economy by encouraging value-added manufacturing, high-tech, environmentally friendly small to medium-sized business, and encouraging Nelson's tourism, education, and recreation. Also managing city expenditures in a respectful manner, in a responsible manner, but I'll put my glasses on here so I can see this. In a responsible manner, and keeping our taxes at an affordable level. Maintaining our clean water by protecting our watershed. And I support arts, culture, and education, and I will work with anyone who has an open mind.
Thank you, David. Rob Switzer.
Thank you for your patience here this evening. You have a difficult choice. You must choose which of us here this evening will best serve Nelson. When you vote, you may choose up to 6 candidates. You should know that you may choose fewer than 6. Some would have you believe that if Nelson were to pursue rampant growth like Kelowna did, it will somehow make us a better community. They would have us make inappropriate concessions to outside developers. Developers who won't be around to face the problems they create. I believe in measured development and not exploitation. I don't represent a particular interest group or power lobby. I'm asking you to support me so that I can work for the ordinary people here in Nelson. If you elect me, I will push for careful planning to ensure that we preserve our way of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Now we'll hear from Tony Brooks.
Well, myself being an individual in this community and somebody that really cares about the people and everybody's lifestyle and all the diverseness in all of our beliefs and all of our... I think that most people move to Nelson or grew up in Nelson and decide to stay in Nelson, mostly for the same reason, because of the uniqueness and because of the character of this place. Everywhere I go, I hear rave reviews about Nelson. No matter who I talk to, people all over the world have heard about Nelson. And it's because of working together, cooperation, and just listening to what each other has to say. Unfortunately, in the past year, since the recent by-election, the municipal government, the city of Nelson, has spent ridiculous amounts of money on legal actions. And it's unfortunate because if that policy was in place, how to consciously talk over problems, hear what the other person has to say without pushing your own beliefs or your own mindset on somebody, and not keeping that open ear. That's the most important thing.
Thank you, Tony. Now we will hear from Marianne Bond.
Well, I won't repeat what everyone said here tonight, just to say I agree with everybody. First of all, I want to thank Channel 10 and you, Nelson, and all of the hardworking volunteers behind the camera for providing not only the candidates but the community with this opportunity. I wish all of the candidates good luck on the 16th. I think this community is fortunate to have such a great group of people willing to step forward and serve in this capacity. And finally, I encourage everyone to vote on Saturday, November 16th. I believe that one doesn't just have the right to vote, they have the responsibility to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. So we'll be back in approximately 10 minutes, and you, the viewer, will have an opportunity to speak with the people who are running for mayor. And I recommend that you stay with us, and we'll be right back in about 10 minutes.
The upcoming election in Nelson.
Yeah.
Is there any big issues you think?
Big issues. Wow. Yeah, I think town's getting too big. I never have any fresh air when I go for a walk. I think there's a lot of traffic, a lot of... I think the youth need to be addressed, some of the troubles they're having. I think they're kind of ignored. And, yeah, and I'm voting Donna McDonald.
Okay, thank you.
Big issues. Commercialism, definitely.
In what way?
Within big businesses coming to the area. That's something that I'm definitely concerned with. That's my main issue, for sure.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Hi there, upcoming election.
Which one? Federal? Chrétien all the way.
No, the municipal
well, I
one.
think it's a hard one to call, but I'm going to say Donna McDonald for sure.
Okay, any issues at all?
Well, I think the growth in Nelson and the business factor and what kind of a town do we want here, really. Not that I'm against business, but I want to preserve the lifestyle here, really.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's all.
Poverty.
Okay.
I wish they would address poverty. There's far too much poverty in this town, and it doesn't seem to be a big concern. Cleaning up the streets was a big concern, but they didn't do a very good job with that.
Thank you for your comment.
Yes, I'm going to vote. And my issue is the environment.
Okay.
And the things on the main street.
Okay, good. Thank you.
People, I guess.
In what way? The candidates, you mean, or the people that you're voting with?
The people that are in charge, listening to the rest of us. That's all.
Good enough. Thank you. In Nelson?
Oh, you're talking about the Canadian election. Oh.
Are you visiting, or you're not from here?
No. I was
you're
being facetious.
Oh, okay, that works for me.
Yeah, I would like to see something done for the children or the teenagers in this town.
Group
There's nothing.
should have something to do.
Okay.
That would be one of my contentions.
Okay.
Brock Bacock, all the way, man.
Okay, what's a big issue?
For this election, I would say dealing with things like the skate park, maybe, keeping the kids kind of motivated. Making sure that as far as all the developments and stuff that are going up at the railroad tracks and that kind of thing, just making sure that everything's done pretty conscientiously.
Okay.
I think.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, most likely.
Oh yeah? What's a big issue for you?
Nothing really. I don't know. It's really too small of a town for me to be too occupied by politics. But
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the whole election is a big issue.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know, you know, it's kind of hard to say what's a big issue. You know, I mean, there's so many issues that there's not a single one of them would, you know, stand up.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.